Okay, so yesterday we read Don't Let the Pigeon Drive the Bus. And if you were at home, hopefully you went on the link and you heard the book read aloud. So this book is a great example of how an author uses voice. Okay, so what is voice? What is voice in writing? Okay, number 24. What's voice in writing?
It's when you see like the character having emotion.
Yes. So what is voice? It's emotions. So what kind of emotions could they possibly be? What kind of emotions? 10?
Sad.
Sad. What else?
Angry.
Angry. And it also can be the opposite. It could be joy, it could be surprise, it could be any emotion, okay? So what else is voice in writing? Because when we're doing our comic writing activity today, our goal is to show voice, okay? It's emotions, it's also expression, okay? And sometimes you use humor to get that across. Sometimes you use different kinds of features. For example, how did the author show voice in this book? For example, let's take a look at this page right here. Now, do I read it, let me drive the bus? Or let me drive the bus?
No.
No. Everybody, how do I read this? Let's do it together.
Let me drive the bus!
How do you know that it is read like that? It doesn't say read this loud. So how do we know? How do we know? Number 19.
Because when there's like big letters, that means like the pigeon screaming.
Okay, so the author shows voice through large font. So that could be one way. Or I should say the size of font, because what if the author writes the words really, really tiny? Small font. What could that mean, number 12?
Maybe it can be quiet.
Yeah, quiet. So the size of your font shows voice. It shows if you're screaming. It shows if you're being quiet. It shows if you're meek and mild. It shows if you're angry. Okay, what else does the author do to show voice? Number 23.
He highlights the phone.
Okay, so you can do large font. You can do highlight. So these are some of the features that you can use in your comic to show voice. What else does the author do? Let me see, I'm going to pick another page. Right here. There are no words, yet the author is communicating something with no words. So what is the author communicating here? 17.
He drew a bunch of black scribbles over his head, which made him look mad.
It certainly doesn't make him look happy, right?
No.
It makes him look mad. So we could use, what shall we call this? We could use black smudges, or we can use, there was another one that kind of used some flying feathers. Here's more black marks here, the lines coming out of the mouth. So you can use not words, you can use symbols. Let's call them symbols. Symbols to express emotion. Okay, and I'll give that example of the black smudge, but this is a blue smudge. Look at the actual drawings of the pigeon and see if this expresses emotion. For example, this picture right here. How is the author communicating emotion in this picture, 23? How do you think the pigeon feels right here? Disappointed, right. How can you tell? How can you tell? 10?
His head is down.
Yeah, so the posture of the pigeon, the way his back is stooped and his head is facing down and his wings are hanging low. So the way you draw the pigeon is very, very important, because look at the way he's drawn here. How's he feeling here? 24?
Kind of excited.
Yeah, kind of excited. He's talking, his mouth is open, his eye is wide. He's kind of got his wings out, like almost like he's talking. So the way you draw your pigeon expresses emotion. Okay, so the posture, that means the way he stands, and facial expression, especially the eyes, of the pigeon. All right, so let's take a look at this feature right here. This wiggly text box compared to this text box. How are these two things said differently? Let's try this one. Let's read this one together. I'll be careful. Let's read this one together. Please. How do you know please is not just said please? How do you know? 17?
Because the squiggles
Yeah.
make them
It kind of, yeah, it goes wavy, so it's almost kind of matching the words, like please. So how you draw your text boxes. Sorry, I should be calling them speech bubbles. Your speech bubbles can show emotion. Okay, so we can have a speech bubble like this, where they're just talking, or we can have a speech bubble with kind of like wavy, and I'll put a point on the end. Okay, so that shows voice, that shows emotion. Is there anything else that can show emotion or voice? Yes.
the exclamation marks.
Thank you. Punctuation is so important. There's just a period here, then there's an exclamation mark here. So it's different the way we say it. Let's read this one together. I'll tell you what, I'll just steer. And then this one, my cousin Herb drives a bus almost every day. So we need to watch for that punctuation. And, oh, here's an example of small-sized font. So how is the pigeon saying this? Let's say it together. Uh-oh. He's not screaming, uh-oh. He's saying, uh-oh, because it's small-sized font. So small font, and I should put size of font. And then punctuation. So these are all ways that you are going to show voice in your comic. So yesterday we talked about how you were going to make your own pigeon comic. So the very first thing you need to do in your writing books today, we're not going to do the good copies, we're just going to work on the rough copies today. So the very first thing you need to do is you need to decide what the pigeon is begging for. What is pigeon begging for? All right, so once you have decided that, then you're going to think about the different tactics that he's going to try and convince his audience. Okay, so what are some tactics that the pigeon used in here? And there's a really good page that shows a variety of tactics, convincing strategies. Okay, yes?
And then he was like, I'll give you $5 if you let me.
Okay, so that's kind of called like a bribe. So I'm going to put tactics. So he's trying to bribe. Sometimes I hear my daughter say things like, I'll walk the dog every day for a week. That's kind of like a bribe, right? What other tactics does the pigeon use? 24.
Trying to like make you sad so make you do it.
Guilt, right? That's another classic one. I have dreams, you know. So, guilt. And you want to think of bribe. I got this backwards. Bribes. You want to think of what you can say in your speech bubbles to sort of match this. I'll walk the dog every day. Guilt. Okay, what else is he using? Right here. He's like, fine. What's that? Yes?
Attitude?
Yeah, attitude. Pouting. Okay, so that's a good one. Attitude. So I'll be your best friend. That is bribe. How about I give you $5? That's a bribe. What's the big deal? That's attitude, right? It's just a bus. What's that one? Attitude. No, fair. Yeah, kind of like pouting too. Attitude and pouting. And then we have, I bet your mom would let me. It's kind of guilt, right? I have dreams, you know. Guilt. And fine. That's attitude. Okay, so you're going to think of some tactics. Then the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to think of a beginning, a middle, and an end. Okay? I will show you one that a previous student of mine did. And you can kind of see the layout of this. So actually I'll put it up. Okay, so she starts with actually a house, and it says, once there was a bus driver who was going out for a while. Hey, can you watch the bus while I'm gone? Thanks. Remember, don't let the pigeon drive the bus. So she's kind of using the same as the book, but you're going to change yours, okay? You're going to say, don't let the pigeon bake, or don't let the pigeon go on Fortnite. Or what are some other ideas? Don't let the pigeon, yes, number 12, go on Call of Duty. Okay, yes, don't let the pigeon drink coffee. Oh boy, what's going to happen to him when he drinks coffee? Don't let the pigeon, yes.
Play Minecraft.
Play Minecraft.
Oh, yeah.
Don't let the pigeon spread germs. We can kind of make it timely. Don't let the pigeon, pardon me?
Get into the sugar bowl.
Get into the sugar bowl. Oh my goodness, okay? And this, actually this student sort of just copied the story because she was just practicing, but you can use, whatever storyline that you want, okay? So then when you are ready, you are going to take your paper. I actually have them folded up, but I don't know where I put it. You're going to take your paper and you're going to decide if you want to fold it into quarters, your paper. So if you do it into quarters, you could use the back and the front. Or if you fold it, you can fold it into, and then some of these squares that you want. That's why you have to pre-plan it in your writing book before you fold it. So I'm going to fold it in half, like that. And I think once I've planned it in my book that I need about, let's see, so do it like this and then fold it in half again. That gives me 4 on the top, 4 on the bottom, so 8. And then if I wanted to also use my back, you don't have to fill up the entire thing. Just use the amount of squares that you need. Okay? All right, so get out your writing books and you can start planning your story And remember my tip about the text box, write your words first, not bear, and then draw the speech bubble around it after. Okay? All right.